Nintendo have worked a kind of magic into a number of their franchises. They've managed to create series that are incredibly well loved. So much so, in fact, that a gap of almost 10 years between new releases hasn't dampened enthusiasm for Pikmin. Pikmin 3 sees the player take on the role of a stranded explorer on a mysterious planet. But the somewhat hapless adventurer is not alone. They have the help of the Pikmin. These weird semi-plant people become the player's labor force and army, and come in a number of varieties that each have their own strengths and weaknesses. Using the Pikmin, and eventually the other crew members from the character's original mission, the player will take on a charming and engrossing puzzle adventure in this game. Pikmin 3 looks great. The world is lavishly detailed, the Pikmin varieties are easily distinguished, and the whole package holds the same kind of charm that flows through the rest of the game. Voice acting isn't an issue because the characters in the game speak their own language, although this does need the player to do a bit of reading thanks to all the subtitles. The truly engaging part of this game is the puzzling. The player will need to use Pikmin to access areas and carry items, including the fruit which the player will need to survive back to the spaceship that forms home base. The Pikmin will also be needed to battle various indigenous creatures that threaten the player's mission, from small easy foes right through to massive bosses, and they have to do it within a time limit. When each in-game day ends, the player will need to get as many Pikmin back to their base as possible. Those that don't make it are eaten. Additionally, the game can only go on for as long as the player has access to juice extracted from the fruit found in the game, but this never really becomes a big problem. The various puzzles that the player will need to work through will often require the unique abilities of the Pikmin. For example, only blue Pikmin can enter water. This means that as new Pikmin varieties are discovered, the player will be able to revisit the 4 main areas over again, to solve new puzzles and access new areas. Pikmin 3 is a great game to relax with, and almost everything about it works really well. The controls can get a little frustrating when the player is aiming Pikmin, because it is very easy for the reticule to slip onto the wrong object or area, but other than that, Pikmin 3 plays smooth as silk. It is not, however, a particularly challenging title, but it is extremely engaging. It is also very accessible, meaning that anyone in the family can really enjoy it, although youngsters may need help with all that reading. The plot is very simple and almost unnecessary. Pikmin 3 is charming enough to not need a strong plot. The single-player game, though, is over far too quickly. There are extra challenges to complete and a multiplayer component, but using the gamepad with its map will give one player a massive advantage, creating a totally unbalanced experience. Pikmin 3 truly is a great game, although it won't appeal to everyone. Its more gentle, almost peaceful nature will not be everyone's cup of tea, which really is a pity. Pikmin 3 goes a long way to show that a great game doesn't need violence and bad language to make an impact. It's not particularly difficult, but it really is a lot of fun. Fans and newcomers alike will undoubtedly be thrilled with it.